Admiral John Kirby. Welcome to German television.
Thank you for having me.
Admiral Kirby, now we have been hearing lots in the last days about the irreversible path of Ukraine into NATO. But on the other hand, President Biden has said in recent weeks that the future of NATO doesn't have to be necessarily in NATO. It's more that NATO has to be prepared to be ready and never to be invaded again. So what's the actual position of the White House? How long do you want to postpone the membership?
It's not about how long it needs to be postponed. It's about building a path to NATO membership for Ukraine that is sustainable and reliable, and in keeping with the kind of membership paths that are put forward for any nation that wants to become a part of the alliance. We've made it clear, President Biden has said time and time again that NATO will be in Ukraine's future. You saw the joint statement today that says it's going to be irreversible as Ukraine continues to work on the necessary reforms that any democracy emerging certainly has emerging needs and wants to become a member.
So is there a fixed date, or what is the final decision on what topic will you decide the membership?
Well, that will be up to the alliance. As you know, all 32 nations have to vote on an incoming member. Now we have 32 with Sweden on board. That's going to be up to the alliance.
It's going to be up to the alliance, and what is not up to the alliance is the decision between Germany and the United States, because there will be, first time since 30 years, long-range missiles stationed in Germany. There has been an agreement made, and Russia has already said that they will answer with a military answer. How safe is this, that it really happens in 2026, and what do you say to these answers from Moscow?
So first of all, these are conventional capabilities, not nuclear. I think that's important to make very, very plain. Number two, this is about improving our bilateral defense capabilities with Germany, and we're grateful that Germany is willing to move forward on this, and we have no expectation that we won't be able to meet the timeline for that. There's no reason for any country, whether it's Russia or anybody else, to consider this some sort of offensive threat. This is about improving defensive capabilities.
So you have no fear that this might be overturned by a future administration here in the United States?
The last thing I am allowed to talk about is politics here in the United States. I can't do that. What I can tell you is that President Biden over the last 3.5 years, and will continue for as long as he's President of the United States, to do what he has to do to protect our national security interests and those of our allies, particularly our NATO allies. That's what this is about. That's what it's always going to be about. And for as long as he's the Commander-in-Chief, that's what he's going to focus on.
Another thing, when we talk about Germany, the role of Germany, there will be this command in Wiesbaden for the military aid to Ukraine. Why are you giving this out of your hands? Why are you giving this out of the hands of Lloyd Austin? Why does this have to be done in Wiesbaden in NATO?
Well, I think there's a couple of things here with respect to Wiesbaden and this 3-star staff. It's some coordination, but it's also about training and force development to support the Ukrainians. It's a way for NATO to take so many of the lessons learned that many of these countries have and the alliance has gained, and put it to a long-term and sustainable way of continuing to support Ukraine going forward. The United States is still going to head and chair the Defense Contact Group that Secretary Austin has put together. More than 50 countries, not just in Europe, but around the world. We're still going to chair that. We're still going to run that process. We're still going to continue to coordinate the delivery, the physical delivery and the logistics of getting Ukraine the weapons and equipment that they need.
So is that delivery and that coordination irreversible?
What I would tell you is, as President Biden has said, we're going to continue to support Ukraine for as long as it takes.
Then one final question. You've mentioned several times now President Biden, and as long as he is in office, there is lots of talks in Washington about Joe Biden and the future of his administration, of his presidency, of his candidacy. Do you fear that this is overshadowing the NATO summit? Is he more defending himself than defending the allies?
No, not at all. The conversations that we're having here at the NATO summit are the right ones that we should be having, about deterrence and defense capabilities, about supporting Ukraine, about answering the need for additional defensive capabilities throughout the alliance. It's about welcoming Sweden into the alliance. It's about shoring up our defense industrial bases, not just the United States, but those of our partners. Those are the conversations that we're having here.
Thank you so much for your time for German television, Admiral Kirby.